We are living in an age where the youths are rising and uprising and rebelling against forces that are deteriorating life. We are living in an age where the youths are fighting for the best lifestyles, for the best life. So the youths are rising and rebelling against forces that do not have goodwill at heart for the masses. The youths are rising and questioning forces that claim to be in authority, but they do not have good intention to the masses. So the youths are rising and they are questioning any force that is deteriorating the lifestyle, the livity of the masses. So among these forces that the youths are rebelling against are the industrial forces. So these are the byproducts of capitalism. These are the fundamental pillars that hold capitalism. So these industrial activities have been known and been proven to be contaminating the air, the water, the soils, and the very essential bodies we need to survive in this planet. So most of these industries emit toxic smoke into the very air we need to breathe. These industrial activities emit toxic waste that end up into our rivers, the very rivers that we need to feed our taps, that every living thing needs to survive. So the youths have been uprising and questioning the civility of these actions. The youths have been rising and uprising and been questioning these forces that are deteriorating the health of the masses while claiming to be civilized and to be scholarly. So most of these industries have bosses who are learned. They have leadership or leaders who know the impacts of air pollution. These industries have bosses and managers who know the consequences of deteriorating our rivers and our water catchment sources. These youths have been raising and uprising and have been questioning the civility in these leaders who continue to perpetuate the destruction of the very essential requirements we need to survive. The youths have been uprising and been questioning, how is it rational? How is it sane? How is it moral? How is it legal to destroy the water sources, to destroy the soils that we need for our vegetation? How is it legal or reasonable to destroy the very air we need every second to breathe and to survive and to live? So these actions have been proven and been known by the medical fraternity to be the biggest sources of our illnesses as human beings. These ways, these practices have been proven and tested and known to be the sources of the illnesses that we spend a lot of money to treat. These sources of illnesses whose bosses are revered have been proven and tested and been known to be the biggest enemies to people's health, to masses' health. This is the biggest crime against humanity. They are committing the biggest crime against life. They are committing the biggest crimes against every living thing that depends on the air, on the water sources, on the soils to survive. In fact, if there is a great enemy, if there is a big enemy against life, if there is a retrogressive activity that should be stopped immediately, it's the manufacturing of poison in the name of industrial products. If there is something that should be stopped immediately, with immediate effect, is the destruction of the very fundamental requirement every human being and every living thing needs to survive. So the biggest enemies to life, the most anti-life forces in this planet, these are the industries, these are the forces that deteriorate our bodies, these are forces that inject toxic chemicals in the name of food products, in the name of processed foods, in the name of incineration. So they incinerate waste and dispose it to the very air we need to breathe. Is this sane? Should this be legal? Should this be allowed to continue in a civil nation? Should this be allowed in a civilized society? Is this sane? Is this moral? Is this ethical? Deteriorating the very air you need to breathe, emitting smoke, toxic gaseous smoke into the very air every living thing needs to survive. Is this sane? Is this moral? Should this be legal? Isn't this a crime against life? Isn't this contrary of life? Isn't this a rebellion against life? So the youth must continue rising and uprising and calling these forces to attention. They should rise and shout with all their energy and say that this should not be allowed. This is not rational. This is in fact abnormality. Doing that which is contrary to your health, doing that which is contrary to other living forms' health, doing in the name of profits that which will deteriorate and destroy other people's bodies. This is the biggest form of irrationality. This is the biggest form of insanity. In fact, an insane person is better because he does not destroy the masses. But an industry that is constantly, for like 150 years, constantly emitting toxic gases into the atmosphere, that is a true insane activity. That's a true insane endeavor. Just for profits, people are ready to destroy millions of lives, millions and billions of lives. Because remember, the air that one intoxicates does not remain stagnant. It moves through the use of the wind. So the intoxicated air around this place will be blown by the wind and be taken to another nation. So forces that are destroying the air, forces that are destroying the rivers, forces that are deteriorating our soils, forces that are intoxicating people's bodies in the name of progress. These are forces that need to be stopped with immediate effect. This is not civil. This is neither civilized nor normal. This is neither sane nor should it be legal. This must be stopped, and our youths must unite and pool all their energy to fight every force that intends, that continues to destroy and degrade life. So this should be a call to awakening to our power, to calling forces of distraction out and stopping them from deteriorating our lives, from deteriorating our environments, from deteriorating our ecosystem. If we let them continue like this, then we'll spend more money in health systems, we'll spend more money in trying to cure the illnesses that we would have avoided or we would have prevented in the level of stopping the industries that are causing sicknesses to the masses. So this is not sane, this is not rational, this should not be legal, this should not be allowed in a nation, in a civilized nation. A civilized nation should only practice that which is healthy to its citizens. Otherwise, we will be fooling ourselves, we will be lying to ourselves, claiming to be civil or civilized, yet deteriorating and self-destructing our own bodies. This should be stopped, and the youth must unite and destroy forces that intend destruction to our bodies, to our environment, to our health, and to our overall holistic well-being. Until next time, please think about these matters.